Welcome to the Bloggerian Deep Dive. So, if you have any retired family members, or honestly, if you just follow the news in India or on social media, you are probably swimming in confusion right now. Our objective today is to walk and talk you through the current status on EPS 95 route and to let you have facts and nothing but the truth in the matter. I'm Prisha Bhattacharya and my co-host today is Bhaskar Chandrasekhar.
Right. Various stakeholders, including trade unions and pensioner committees, have persistently demanded the minimum pension be increased to Rs 7,500 per month, often with an added dearness allowance (DA) component.
Righto, so here we are today, and our job is to take a scalpel to one of the most high stakes financial topics there is right now in the union.
Right,
The status of the employees' pension scheme or EPS 95 minimum pension.
and it's such a classic case of yan extreme noise versus the official signal. It really is. On one side, you have headlines shouting about a huge hike up to, what, 7,500 rupees?
Right.
But then on the other hand, their official record, it confirms the minimum is stubbornly, stuck at 1,000 rupees.
So our mission today is pretty clear. We need to separate the verifiable facts from all this, media perpetrated misinformation.
Especially since some of these sensational claims are dated as recently as this month, November 2025.
And the reason this gap between speculation and reality is so huge isn't just your standard political back and forth, it's fundamentally a financial one.
It is. How so?
What we came across during our research and investigation explains the government's extreme reluctance to act on this.
Well, the core tension is this massive pressure from pensioner groups who, they desperately need more money to live, given the last revision date was September 2014.
Of course.
And that pressure is running straight into a brick wall, the fund itself.
So this isn't just about a number changing.
Not at all. It's about millions of retirees facing real economic uncertainty, while the EPS system is, at the same time, wrestling with a gargantuan actuarial deficit.
That phrase again, the actuarial deficit.
That financial constraint, that deficit, is what fundamentally limits the government's ability to approve any massive hike without crippling the long-term stability of the fund. It's the engine driving this whole vicious circle of rumors and conflict.
Okay, let's unpack the system first because I don't think you can really understand the funding problem without understanding the foundation.
Agreed.
This retirement scheme actually has two distinct parts. You've got the EPF and the EPS-95.
And that distinction is absolutely vital. The EPF, or Employees Provident Fund, is mainly a retirement savings scheme.
Like a big pension savings pot.
Right. Think of it as a massive pot, where both the employee and a portion of the employer's contributions go. When you retire, you get that money, plus interest, as a lump sum.
And the contribution rates are what? The employee puts in 12%.
12% of their wages, and then 3.67% of the employer's contribution goes into that EPF pot too.
Okay, so then you have the EPS 95, the Employees Pension Scheme 1995. This is the one that's causing all the debate.
Right. And this is the Social Security scheme. It's described as a defined contribution, defined benefit system.
Which sounds a bit complex.
It does, but it just means that while your employer's contribution, the defined contribution is fixed at 8.33% of your wages.
Okay.
The final pension you get, the defined benefit, is guaranteed. It's calculated by a specific formula, and it's designed to give you a monthly income for life.
And the funding for that specific benefit is shared, right? It's not just the employer.
That's right. The employer contributes that 8.3% of the employee's salary up to 15,000 rupees of monthly wages.
Right? There's a cap.
And the central government also contributes an additional 1.16% on that same salary cap.
And what's absolutely crystal clear during our investigation, despite all the rumors, is the official status quo. The mandated minimum EPS 95 pension is still 1,000 rupees per month.
Still 1,000. It's been that way since September 4, 2014. And the government currently provides extra budgetary support just to keep it at that minimum floor.
So we have a system for Social Security. It guarantees a floor of 1,000 a month as long as you meet the eligibility,
which is at least 10 years of service and you have to be at least 58 years old.
right? And that 1,000 rupees is just not enough, which brings us to the pressure point. Why is the demand so overwhelmingly centered on this one number, 7,500?
The rationale from the pensioners is, well, it's devastatingly simple and tragic. At the same time,
I can imagine.
organized groups, especially the National Agitation Committee, or NAEC, they argue that 1,000 rupees is just completely inadequate with inflation and rising costs.
We saw one quote that was just heartbreaking.
The one that said it wasn't even enough to cover a week's ration.
Sad.
Retirees are not arguing for luxury. They're arguing for the basic necessity for a dignified survival in old age.
And that strong demand has just fueled this intense, really confusing rumor mill. Our investigation unearthed a basket of these bold but contradictory claims.
Totally contradictory.
What are the most specific and I guess the highest claims we've seen out there in the press?
The consistent number that keeps getting thrown around is 7,500 rupees.
And they always mention dearness allowance or DA.
Often, yes, that it would be inclusive of DA.
And for anyone listening who isn't familiar with Indian wage structures,
DA is just the standard adjustment made to salaries and pensions to offset inflation, a cost of living increase.
but what's really remarkable is the confidence in these speculative reports.
Some sources claim this hike has been, quote, recently approved by the Supreme Court.
Which is a huge claim.
Others were saying it was definitely announced and was set for implementation from May of 2025.
And the most aggressive claims are dated right up to now. We unearthed articles alleging that at a November 2025 EPFO board meeting, it was officially decided
What was decided?
to increase the pension to 7,500 with payments starting immediately this month. They even called it the biggest reform in nearly 11 years.
It creates this massive and frankly false yo-yo hope for millions of people.
It does.
And it just highlights this vast gap between what people want to happen, what they need to happen, and what has actually happened.
Okay, let's unpack this with the official replies. We have to address these claims head on using the government and EPFO statements, even the ones dated just recently, to get some clarity.
We have several very clear denials in our sources.
Let's hear them.
Let's start with the Right to Information, or RTI request. One was filed this past June, and it confirmed that no decision had been made to raise the minimum pension to 7,500 rupees.
No decision.
No, and what's more,
Yes.
the source material shows that even a really modest proposal to raise it to 2,000 rupees
Just double the current amount.
that was considered by a high-level monitoring committee, but it was, and I quote, ultimately not accepted.
Wait, they rejected even 2,000 rupees given all the social and political pressure. Isn't citing the actuarial deficit just a convenient excuse? I mean, how real is this financial crisis?
That is exactly the right question to ask, and it's critical. If the government was looking for an easy way out, they probably would have accepted the 2,000 rupee proposal and saved face.
Good point.
The fact that this rejection is consistent across ministries and that they keep pointing back to the official fund valuation, it suggests this is a real solvency concern.
So the numbers from 2019 showed the deficit.
They did, and the government has to choose between an immediate political fix and the long-term solvency of a massive social program.
So the official word, even right up to now, contradicts the most hopeful headlines. If we look at what was reported to Parliament this past July, what did the Minister of State for Labour actually say?
The minister confirmed that, yes, requests were received and they're significant requests, but he stressed that no actual decision has been taken yet.
Just a quick reminder to remind you to subscribe. If you haven't done so already, thank you. Back to you, Rishan.
And critically, our most recent official source update, dated as late as November 2025, the very month some rumors claimed this would all be implemented, still confirmed there has been no official government approval or notification.
And the main roadblock is,
The same thing, cited repeatedly, the actuarial deficit.
so this really is the reality check. The government is stuck between these essential social justice demands and the long-term economic sustainability of the fund itself.
Exactly. The source materials were clear. Unless there's a massive infusion of budgetary support from the central government or a really significant structural increase in contribution.
From employees or employers?
Right. The government simply cannot afford to meet that 7,500 rupee demand without risking a system collapse.
So, if the hike isn't approved, let's shift focus. The government can't just ignore this problem forever. What does our stack of documents tell us is actually moving forward? What is officially under consideration?
Well, the matter is definitely active. The Labour Ministry has acknowledged receiving the demands, and they have stated that the matter is under examination.
Okay, so it's not dead in the water.
Not at all. The minister indicated that the proposal will soon be placed before the Union Cabinet for high-level consideration, which means the file is moving through the bureaucratic process. Or in other words, no decision has been made as yet.
And the Central Board of Trustees, the CBT of the EPFO, they play a key role here, right? They're the ones who have to look at the numbers.
Precisely. The CBT at their October 10-11, 2025, held in Bengaluru, made no announcement about EPS-95, uplift from the current 1,000 rupees to 7,500 rupees.
And their focus at that meeting, among other things, was financial feasibility, funding discussions, and exploring policy amendments.
After all, they are the ones who are tasked with solving this actuarial deficit puzzle.
Basically, can we afford to? And if we're going to bump up EPS 95, where do we find the money?
Yep, that's it in a nutshell.
Before we move on, for those listeners trying to figure out what their pension should be, even under the current rules, can we just briefly remind everyone of the fundamental calculation?
Sure. Your pension amount is determined by a core formula. Pension equals your pensionable salary multiplied by your years of service, all divided by 70.
So, your time in service and your average salary are the critical drivers.
Exactly, subject to those eligibility requirements we mentioned earlier.
Looking ahead, there is a suggestion for a long-term solution that might prevent this painful, repetitive cycle of demands and denials, which I thought was fascinating.
Absolutely. Policy experts are suggesting the government should consider linking the EPS pensions to the inflation index.
Specifically, the All India Consumer Price Index, or AICPI.
That's the one. If pensions were automatically adjusted for inflation every year, it would ensure the benefit doesn't become, woefully insufficient over time.
It would guarantee a measure of real value for retirees.
And it would remove the need for pensioners to constantly launch these agitations just to cover basic living costs.
That seems like the only way to genuinely honor the spirit of a social security scheme. Okay, so let's summarize the tension we've uncovered today.
The tension is immense. You have this persistent, aggressive speculation about a 7,500 rupee pension standing in direct opposition to official government confirmations.
Which all maintain the 1,000 rupee minimum.
Right. And the primary constraint, which we have to remember, is that confirmed actuarial deficit in the fund.
So while the matter is under active consideration by the cabinet, what's the bottom line for pensioners?
They must rely only on official EPFO notifications. Don't trust the headlines.
This brings us back to the fundamental nature of the scheme itself. What final provocative thought does this raise for you?
Well, the EPS-95 is a defined benefit scheme. It's intended to guarantee security and dignity in retirement.
That's its purpose.
Right. So, if we acknowledge that the actuarial deficit prevents that guaranteed benefit from being substantial enough to live on today, as the pensioners are clearly attesting, then the system is failing its core purpose of social security.
You're saying the current system is not fit for purpose? That's a powerful claim.
And it raises an important question for policymakers. How fundamentally does the design of a social security scheme need to change to ensure dignity for its recipients in today's economy?
Without breaking the bank?
Without crippling the system's financial equilibrium and leaving future retirees with nothing.
We hope this deep dive into EPS 95 clears up some of the confusion you're seeing in the headlines. Until next time, keep questioning what you read.
That's a powerful thought to chew on. Is a defined benefit still a benefit if it's inadequate? That's a wrap from us. Thank you for watching. Please share, comment, like, and subscribe. Until next time.